And here we go. Welcome back, everybody. This is day 87 of our daily Bible reading. And we're almost done with the book of Joshua. Not quite, but this time we're going to get through Joshua chapters 19 through 21. And we're still going through the delegation of the land, dividing it up and such. So here we are with Simeon's inheritance, chapter 19. Excuse me. The second lot came out for Simeon, for the tribe of his descendants by their clans, for their inheritance was within the inheritance given to Judah's descendants. Their inheritance included Beersheba or Sheba, Moladah, Hasar Shual, Bala, Esem, Eltolad, Betul, Hormah, Siklag, Beit Markabot, Hatzar Susa, Beit Labaot, and Sharuhen, 13 cities with their settlements, Ain, Rimmon, Eter, and Ashan, 4 cities with their settlements, and all the settlements surrounding these cities as far as Baalath Beer, Ramah in the south. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Simeon's descendants by their clans. The inheritance of Simeon's descendants was within the territory of Judah's descendants, because the share for Judah's descendants was too large. So Simeon's descendants received an inheritance within Judah's portion. Zebulun's inheritance. The third lot came up for Zebulun's descendants by their clans. The territory of their inheritance stretched as far as Sarid. Their border went up westward to Maralah, reached Dabeshet, and met the brook east of Jokneam. From Sarid, it turned due east along the border of Kislot Tabor, went to Dabarot, and went up to Yaphia. From there it went due east to Gat Hefer and to Et Kassin. It extended to Rimmon, curving around to Neah. The border then circled around Neah on the north to Hanaton and ended at Ita El Valley, along with Katah, Nahalal, Shimron, Idalah, and Bethlehem, 12 cities with their settlements. This was the inheritance of Zebulun's descendants by their clans, these cities with their settlements. Issachar's inheritance. The fourth lot came out for the tribe of Issachar's descendants by their clans. Their territory went to Jezreel and included Kesulot, Shunem, Hapharaim, Shion, Anaharat, Rabit, Kishion, Ebetz, Remet, En-Ganim, En-Hadah, and Beit Pesetz. The border reached Tabor, Shahasumah, and Beit Shemesh, and ended at the Jordan, 16 cities with their settlements. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Issachar's descendants by their clans, the cities with their settlements. Asher's inheritance. The fifth lot came out for the tribe of Asher's descendants by their clans. Their boundary included Helkat, Ali, Beten, Achshaph, Alimelech, Amad, and Mishal, and reached westward to Carmel and Shihor Ibnath. It turned eastward to Bet Dagon, reached Zebulun and Ita El Valley, north toward Bet Emek and Neel, and went north to Kabul, Hebron, Rehob, Hamon, and Cana, as far as Greater Sidon. The boundary then turned to Ramah as far as the fortified city of Tyre. It turned back to Husa and ended at the Mediterranean Sea, including Mahalab, Aksib, Umah, Afek, and Rehob, 22 cities with their settlements. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Asher's descendants by their clans, these cities with their settlements. Naphtali's inheritance. The sixth lot came out for Naphtali's descendants by their clans. Their boundary went from Helef and from the oak at Zanim, including Adami Nekeb and Yabneel, as far as Lakum, and ended at the Jordan. To the west, the boundary turned to Asnot Tabor, and went from there to Hukok, reaching Zebulun on the south, Asher on the west, and Judah at the Jordan on the east. The fortified cities were Ziddim, Ser, Hamat, Rakat, Kinneret, Ademah, Ramah, Hatzor, Kedesh, Edrei, En-Hatzor, Iron, Migdal El, Chorem, Beit Anat, and Beit Shemesh, 19 cities with their settlements. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Naphtali's descendants by their clans, the cities with their settlements. Dan's inheritance. The seventh lot came out for the tribe of Dan's descendants by their clans. The territory of their inheritance included Sorah, Eshtaol, Ir Shemesh, Sha'alabin, Ayalon, Itla, Elon, Timnah, Ekron, Elteke, Gibbeton, Baalat, Yehud, Bnei-Barak, Gat Rimon, Meyorkon, and Rokon, with the territory facing Joppa. When the territory of the descendants of Dan slipped out of their control, they went up and fought against Leshem, captured it, and struck it down with the sword. So they took possession of it, lived there, and renamed Leshem after their ancestor Dan. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Dan's descendants by their clans, these cities with their settlements. Joshua's inheritance. When they had finished distributing the land into its inheritance, or into its territories, the Israelites gave Joshua, son of Nun, an inheritance among them. By the Lord's command, they gave him the city Timnath-Serah, in the hill country of Ephraim, which he requested. He rebuilt the city and lived in it. These were the portions that the priest Elsar, Joshua son of Nun, and the family heads distributed to the Israelite tribes by lot at Shiloh in the Lord's presence at the entrance to the tent of meeting. So they finished dividing up the land. Cities of Refuge, chapter 20. Then the Lord spoke to Joshua, "Tell the Israelites, select your cities of refuge, as I instructed you through Moses, so that a person who kills someone unintentionally or accidentally may flee there. These will be your refuge from the avenger of blood. When someone flees to one of these cities, stands at the entrance of the city gate, and states his case before the elders of that city, they are to bring him into the city and give him a place to live among them. And if the avenger of blood pursues him, they must not hand the one who committed manslaughter over to him, for he killed his neighbor accidentally and did not hate him beforehand. He is to stay in that city until he stands trial before the assembly, and until the death of the high priest serving at that time. Then the one who committed manslaughter may return home to his own city from which he fled." So they designated Kadesh in the hill country of Naphtali in Galilee, Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim, and Kiryat Arba, that is Hebron, in the hill country of Judah. Across the Jordan east of Jericho, they selected Bezer on the wilderness plateau from Reuben's tribe, Ramoth in Gilead and from Gad's tribe, and Golon in Bashan from Manasseh's tribe. These are the cities appointed for all the Israelites and the aliens residing among them, so that anyone who kills a person unintentionally may flee there and not die at the hand of the avenger of blood, until he stands before the assembly. Cities of the Levites, chapter 21. The Levite family heads approached the priest Elsar, Joshua son of Nun, and the family heads of the Israelite tribes. At Shiloh, in the land of Canaan, they told them, "The Lord commanded through Moses that we be given cities to live in with their pasture lands for our livestock." So the Israelites, by the Lord's command, gave the Levites these cities with their pasture lands from their inheritance. The lot came out for the Kohathite clans. The Levites, who were the descendants of the priest Aaron, received 13 cities by lot from the tribes of Judah, Simeon, and Benjamin. The remaining descendants of Kohath received 10 cities by lot from the clans of the tribes of Ephraim, Dan, and half the tribe of Manasseh. Gershon's descendants received 13 cities by lot from the clans of the tribes of Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and half the tribe of Manasseh in Bashan. Merari's descendants received 12 cities from their clans from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun. The Israelites gave these cities with their pasture lands around them to the Levites by lot, as the Lord had commanded through Moses. Cities of Aaron's descendants. The Israelites gave these cities by name from the tribes of the descendants of Judah and Simeon to the descendants of Aaron from the Kohathite clans of the Levites, because they received the first lot. They gave them Kiriath Arba, that is, Hebron. Arba was the father of Anak, with its surrounding pasture lands in the hill country of Judah. But they gave the fields and settlements of the city to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, as his possession. They gave to the descendants of the priest Aaron Hebron, the city of refuge for the one who commits manslaughter, with its pasture lands, Libnah with its pasture lands, Yatir with its pasture lands, Eshtemoa with its pasture lands, Holon with its pasture lands, Debir with its pasture lands, Ain with its pasture lands, Utah with its pasture lands, and Beit Shemesh with its pasture lands. 9 cities from these 2 tribes. From the tribe of Benjamin they gave Gibeon with its pasture lands, Geba with its pasture lands, Anatot with its pasture lands, and Almon with its pasture lands. 4 cities. All 13 cities with their pasture lands were for the priests, the descendants of Aaron. Cities of Kohath's other descendants. They allotted cities to the remaining clans of Kohath's descendants, who were Levites, came from the tribe of Ephraim. The Israelites gave them Shechem, the city of refuge for the one who commits manslaughter, with its pasture lands in the hill country of Ephraim, Getzer with its pasture lands, Kibzaim with its pasture lands, and Bet-Horon with its pasture lands. 4 cities. From the tribe of Dan they gave Eltekeh with its pasture lands, Gibbeton with its pasture lands, Ayalon with its pasture lands, and Gat Rimmon with its pasture lands. 4 cities. From the half-tribe of Manasseh they gave Tahanach with its pasture lands and Gat Rimmon with its pasture lands. 2 cities. All the 10 cities with their pasture lands were for the clan of Kohath's other descendants. Cities of Gershon's descendants. From half the tribe of Manasseh they gave to the descendants of Gershon, who were one of the Levite clans, Golan, the city of refuge for the one who commits manslaughter, with its pasture lands in Bashan, and Beeshterah with its pasture lands. 2 cities. From the tribe of Issachar they gave Kishion with its pasture lands, Daberot with its pasture lands, Yarmut with its pasture lands, and En-Ganim with its pasture lands. 4 cities. From the tribe of Asher they gave Mishal with its pasture lands, Abdon with its pasture lands, Helkat with its pasture lands, and Rehob with its pasture lands. 4 cities. From the tribe of Naphtali they gave Kedesh in Galilee, the city of refuge for the one who commits manslaughter, with its pasture lands, Hamot Dor with its pasture lands, and Kartan with its pasture lands, 3 cities. All 13 cities with their pasture lands were for the Gershonites by their clans. Cities of Merari's descendants. From the tribe of Zebulun, they gave to the clans of the descendants of Merari, who were the remaining Levites, Yokneam with its pasture lands, Karta with its pasture lands, Dimnah with its pasture lands, and Nahalal with its pasture lands, 4 cities. From the tribe of Reuben they gave Bezer with its pasture lands, Yasa'ah with its pasture lands, Kedemot with its pasture lands, and Mephaath with its pasture lands, 4 cities. From the tribe of Gad they gave Ramoth in Gilead, the city of refuge for the one who commits manslaughter, with its pasture lands, Mahanaim with its pasture lands, Heshbon with its pasture lands, and Yatzer with its pasture lands, 4 cities in all. All 12 cities were allotted to the clans of Merari's descendants, the remaining Levite clans. Within the Israelite possession, there were 48 cities in all, with their pasture lands for the Levites. Each of these cities had its own surrounding pasture lands, and this was true for all the cities. The Lord's promise fulfilled. So the Lord gave Israel all the land he had sworn to give their ancestors, and they took possession of it and settled there. The Lord gave them rest on every side, according to all he had sworn to their ancestors. None of their enemies were able to stand against them, for the Lord handed over all their enemies to them. None of the good promises the Lord had made to the house of Israel failed. Everything was fulfilled. May the Lord bless the reading and study of his word. And I have to say hallelujah to that last part. Everything was fulfilled.